All right, you guys, turn to Atoms 8.5a. The first thing that you're going to do is fill in the missing information to summarize what you know about atomic structure. On this particular page, go ahead and get out your journal and you can use that information to fill it out. Go ahead and pause the video for right now so you can fill out that information, and on the next slides, you're going to check your answers. Pause the video now. Now that you have filled out your information, now we're going to check your answers. If you look at the first column or the first row where it says name of a subatomic particle, notice that one is blank. But if you look at the location within the atom, I'm looking for something that is inside the nucleus that has a mass of 1 atomic mass unit. The first thing that I'm going to think about is a proton. And if I look at the other information that's provided, I know that the first one cannot be the neutron because it's not showing the neutral electric charge in that row. So I know that the first answer is going to be proton because it is inside the nucleus. The electrical charge for a proton is positive, and it has 1 atomic mass unit. To fill in the next row, I know that this subatomic particle that's neutral is going to be a neutron. The neutron is also located inside of the nucleus. It is neutral and it has a relative mass that is 1 atomic mass unit. And last but not least, the electron. The electron is not located inside the nucleus. It is located outside of the nucleus in the electron cloud. Its electrical charge is negative, and its relative mass is pretty much 0. Notice it is a fraction of a mass unit, which means that it is really, really small. Now let's go to the next portion of this sheet so we can work these out together. So this is the next portion of your sheet. You're going to need 3 colors. Notice that I have indicated what I want my protons to look like, what I want my neutrons to look like, and what I want my electrons to look like. But the instruction says to draw an atom that has 5 protons, 6 neutrons, and 5 electrons. Complete the color key to identify the 3 major subatomic particles. Then answer the 2 questions that follow. So pause the video right now so that you can get your 3 colors and you can decide where you're going to place your subatomic particles over here. If you get confused, go back to the previous portion that we just filled out, and that way you know where your protons should be located, your neutrons should be located, as well as your electrons. Pause the video now so you can put your answers. Great, we're ready to start. So the first thing it tells me to do is that I have to put 5 protons. And I know that my protons are located inside of the nucleus. And this gray area is our nucleus. So I'm going to place 5 protons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The next thing the instructions tell me to do is place 6 neutrons. So I'm going to place 6 neutrons inside of the nucleus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last but not least, we're going to place our 5 electrons, not inside of the nucleus, because before we learned that the electrons are located on the outside. So here we go. 1 electron, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Notice the placement of the electrons. There are 2 located on the first shell, and then the rest are placed on the second shell, still following the 2-8-8 rule. Let's answer our 3 questions. What is the mass of the atom in this model? So our mass is located in the nucleus. So all I have to do is count how many protons and neutrons are inside of the nucleus. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which means that the mass for this Bohr model is going to be 11 atomic mass unit. So remember, if they're asking me for the mass, I need to count or calculate protons plus the neutrons located in the nucleus. The next question asks, what is the electrical charge of the atom in this model? The whole thing is the atom. So if I'm calculating the electrical charge, it's going to be neutral because negatives cancel out positives. So they cancel each other out, which means that there's no charge for the atom at all. The next question, what subatomic particle determines the identity of an element? Well, if we think of the protons as our ID number, as we said earlier this year, your ID number determines who you are, just like the protons. So if I look and count how many protons are in the center of this atom, that is the ID number that lets me know what the element is on the periodic table. So all I have to do is count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on my periodic table, I look for the atomic number 5, and I will know what the atom is or what this Bohr model represents. So the answer for that one will be protons. Let's go to our next section of this atomic structure portion of your paper today. The instructions read, the diagram below shows models of 4 different atoms. Using the models to answer the following questions, or use the models to answer the following questions. So if I look, I'm looking at 4 different atoms or 4 different Bohr models. The question here, the first question asks me, which atom has the greatest mass? Well, where is the mass? The mass is located in the middle. So I need to count a total of protons combined with neutrons to get the mass. And I want to know which has the greatest mass. So I'm looking for the larger number. So if I count A, it has 4 total. If I count B, it has 6 total. If I count C, I only have 1, no neutrons available. And if I count D, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I'm asking about the greatest mass, my answer choice would be D. Which atoms have a neutral electrical charge? Neutral meaning it's not more positives than negatives. So neutral means that it's even. So I'm looking for an atom that has an equal amount of positives and an equal amount of negatives. So if I look here, this has 2 positives and 2 negatives, which is represented by the blue. This one has 3 positives and 4 negatives, which means that this is going to be overall a negative charge. The next is even, and then the following is more positive. So the best answer is going to be A and C because they're even. Which has a positive electrical charge? That one's going to be D because it has more positives than negatives. And which atom has a negative electrical charge? That answer is going to be B.